Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Constable with Avantra, and welcome to a short explainer video on running Avantra with our partner Google Cloud. If you or your team are responsible for running and managing an SAP environment on Google Cloud, considering going to Google Cloud, or going to be in a hybrid environment, this video is for you. We're going to talk today about taking the capabilities of Avantra with the capabilities of Google Cloud and how that combination can help make sure that you are running in a healthy and stable environment and maybe even control some of your cloud costs. So we're going to go through a quick overview as to how this works, a couple examples, and then we'll actually get into it and actually see some of the setup and actually see some live examples as well. So let's get right into it. So when we talk about Avantra and its capabilities of monitoring and management in an SAP environment, we really are talking about the full stack, whether it's the SAP layer at the top, the database layer, the operating system, or the public cloud layer. Now, obviously today we're going to be focusing on that bottom layer, which is that Google Cloud layer, but really it's going to impact that full stack. So when we say about, how does Google Cloud work with Avantra and what does that mean by automation? So a couple of quick examples now that often come up are, first of all, controlling cloud costs. Now, there might be a situation where you don't need all of your environment up and running 24/7, 365. You may not need all of your non-production systems, let's say, over the weekend, or perhaps in the middle of the night. It really depends on your specific environment. So let's just go through an example of you don't need non-production, so you don't need development and quality over the weekend. So Friday night, you can actually set up in Avantra full automation to bring down SAP, bring down, let's say, some tax software, and then bring down the actual server itself. And then Monday morning, before everyone gets in, bring everything back up again. The nice thing about this is, if you think about this, this could be up to 2/3 of your systems, right? So your development quality, maybe even your pre-prod if you're running that, but not your production, right? Production's probably still gonna be up. So let's say 2/3 of your systems can be shut down for 2 out of 7 days out of the week. This, depending on how your costs are with Google Cloud, this can significantly help with your cloud costs. We can even go in a specific order, bringing down ECC first, or perhaps BW first, and ECC, so on and so forth. Another example is more trigger-based. So using Avantra's monitoring capabilities to trigger an event that is automated to take place. So in this example, we're actually going to connect into ServiceNow as well. That may or may not be relevant for you, but we have some great integration with ServiceNow as well. But basically, Avantra recognizes that something's occurring. In this example, there's not enough dialogue work processes. Those are those little work engines within the SAP application layer that other monitoring solutions are not going to see, right? So Google Cloud is not going to be able to see that. It's within the SAP application itself, and there's just not enough resources for it to run. So Avantra recognizes this and says, hey, the system doesn't have enough work processes. In other words, if these fill up, the system's going to come to a standstill, or at least have very big delayed times. So in this case, Avantra is going to say, all right, I have a resolution for this. I can stand up an additional sleeping application server, right? So essentially stand up that additional Google Cloud server that's already built, stand up that additional application server that's already built, that are currently shut down sleeping, so they don't cost us a lot of money. So now Avantra can say, hey, I recognize that this is happening, but before I go start the automation, I need to go check with ServiceNow to run through its workflow process. So it does that, alert ServiceNow. ServiceNow goes through its workflow process to get all the approvals that it needs, tells Avantra, okay, you're ready to go, and then off it goes and it starts up that particular additional application server. So now you don't have to run with a full-blown, all the resources needed to run maybe, that one, year end, when everyone's on the system, everyone's doing everything. You can actually stay scaled down quite significantly, or scaled in, I should say. And then, when Avantra recognizes that your system needs additional resources, it can do that and scale your system out. All right, so let's get in and actually see how this is set up. So the first thing we're going to do here, I'm going to go into Avantra, and the first thing we need to do is set up getting into the connection to Google Cloud. So within Avantra, we have what's called our integrations here. With integrations, we can come in here and select what we want to connect to, in this case, Google Cloud. And when we do that, we end up with a spot like this. Now, this is very well documented on how to do this. It's actually very simple. You go into Google Cloud, you get the JSON file, which is going to have some specifics, some tokens and some keys that are specific to your environment to make sure that obviously you're just connecting into the environment that it is applicable for. And that includes some of the credentials as well. So essentially you go into Google Cloud, again, we have this all documented for you, and you essentially copy and paste that right in here, and you're off and running. So from here now, we can go into our automations and start to build out those automations. So I'm going to go into an automation that we have here that currently has 0 steps, right? Nothing is ready to go. And the first thing we're going to do, let's go through this example of a non-production environment that we want to shut down on Friday. And the first thing we want to do in this example is bring down BW. Then let's stop some tax software and then bring down ECC. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to say stop BW non-prod. And then I'm going to come in here and select from the pre-built selection criteria, right? So the nice thing about Avantra is there's a lot of pre-built things, and you can also build out some of your own automation as well. So these are some of the pre-built capabilities here. It could be starting just an SAP system, starting a database, starting an instance. In other words, we want to scale out. In this case, we're just going to stop the SAP systems, databases, and servers. I've got a handful of criteria here, things I can do, but I'm just going to go and select which systems I want. Now, this could be 1 system, it could be 100 systems, doesn't really matter, right? So in this case, it's just going to be 1. And should this particular step fail, I'm just going to have it retry. Okay? So that's my first step. Now, when Avantra completes this first step and everything is successful, it's going to move on to the second step. And in this case, this is going to be run a script to stop tax software. All right, so here's my, oops, if I can spell correctly here. And here's where Avantra becomes an automation platform. You aren't just restricted to the capabilities that we have pre-built in here, which are great, but you can also run scripts as well. So you can run a command line from an OS, or you can run a script from right within Avantra here. And here's going to be my stop tax script here. So I'm just going to write the word script as if I had the script here, copy and paste it in. And then I'm going to select, the server that I want it to run on. In this case, if this fails again, I will retry. Okay, now I'm going to go out and run my stop or ECC. Stop ECC, and I'm going to come in here and select my same thing, stop database, SAP system database and servers. And again, this could be 1, it could be 100, so on and so forth. So here I now have built out some automation that's going to run every Friday to go out and take control of this. So again, stop BW, stop the tax software, stop ECC. I can come in here and run this on a schedule. So as simple as this, I'm going to come in here and say, all right, I want this to be every Friday, at 2:48 p.m., right? So you can make that time to do whatever I want, and I will create another one on Monday to bring it back up again. Now, again, the other example we gave was for Avantra to recognize that something was occurring. So it'd be the exact same setup in here. I can just delete a couple of these items here. And all I'm going to do is add, instead of the shutdown, I'm going to do a start of a cloud server. And I will select which server I want that to be. And then after that, I'm going to start up the additional instance that's in here. So start SAP instance. So again, this is where we're going to scale out to have more dialogue work processes. I'm going to come in here and select my start SAP instance and select which instance I would like that to be. All right. So now when Avantra is doing its monitoring, as I'll go into an SAP system here, let's go into a random system. And as Avantra recognizes that those work processes, so essentially just quickly I went into the monitoring checks of a system, went into the real-time monitoring, the things that are occurring throughout the day, and I can see that the DIA or the dialogue work processes are starting to fill up. That's the case. Avantra recognizes it, and then it's going to trigger this automation to take place. All right. So you can either schedule the automation, you can trigger it to take place based on a single check or a set of checks, or I could come in here and select execute as well. So I hope you found this short explainer video easy. Again, we're going to take the capabilities of Avantra with Google Cloud and really help maintain a safe and healthy environment of SAP on Google Cloud through automation and possibly even control some of your cloud costs. If you would like to get in touch with us to find out more information, please do so at www.avantra.com. Thank you.